Hello and welcome to your weekend oracle reading for December 21st and 22nd. Oh, it's Solstice weekend. I'm Linda the Lightworker. I'm so glad you're here with me. So this is a big weekend, the weekend of the solstice. And the solstice is when we have the shortest, the winter solstice is when we are furthest away from our sun and we have our shortest day. And our tilt is such that the sun sets very early. I forgot to check the sunset time, but I'm sure it's 4 o'clock sometime, 3 o'clock in some places. And in the northern hemisphere, I'm sure my friends to the farther north are having colder and darker days still. But this is the last day of the long, cold, dark nights. And soon our days will be becoming warmer and brighter minute by minute as the sun advances further down. So our hemisphere, so we're up, I don't know how we're tilted. We are tilted. We're a little off kilter, this planet. So I encourage you to honor the solstice and to make some intentions as you are in this darkness, the extreme darkness physically that's coming up right now, for you to be able to step into your own light and to bring more light into your world. It's a great time to shed any dark beliefs that no longer serve you, or a time to go within a little bit. And speaking of which, let's jump into our cards because that will provide a little bit clearer answer. So our first card today is the Eight of Clubs. This is from the World Spirit Tarot deck I'm using. Now, this is the Eight of Cups. Now, the Cups is the second suit in the suits, Wands, Cups, Swords, Pentacles. That's typically the order, although it doesn't have to be. And the cups are represented by all the water signs. So this reading is especially true for Pisceans, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Goodness gracious. So this is the Eight of Cups. Now we have this lone traveler on this beautiful beach, and half of the cups, more than half, there 5 of them are buried down here. They're in still waters, and these 3 are exposed. So what's that mean? Well, oftentimes with the Eight of Cups, it's about having a lot of emotions happening at the same time. Some of them magnificent and very uplifting, and others quite heavy and dark and shadowy, or maybe some unprocessed grief might be coming up, or perhaps there's a small bit of emptiness or missing something inside and you're not sure exactly what it is. This cups, and on this weekend, it is an invitation for you to take a look at those emotions and gain some wisdom. It's also an excellent time for a spiritual quest. So if you have the ability in this holiday madness during the solstice weekend to get some alone private time or quiet time, a private walk, for some introspective time for you to chat with spirit, this is a wonderful weekend to do so, because some of these things that might be down here below the surface you might not even be aware of are nuggets of information that are really eager to come forward. See how these cups are made of gold? I mean, this is golden information down here, staying on that golden path. But not being overwhelmed. He's not diving into the water. He's walking around a bend in the vista there. He's on his quest, and he's headed for some private time. So take what you need. He has a small backpack. He has this walking stick. Just take what you need. Be sure to bring snacks. If you're going on a spiritual quest, you have to have snacks, right? Because sometimes spirit will say, you need a piece of chocolate, or have some water, or drink a cup of tea. You need to have yummies and things for you to feel warm and nourished. So don't forget to feed yourself well. So when I went to the Denise Linn Sacred Travelers deck for a little bit more clarity, I got the powerful view from above. So how this works is if you've been diving deep into emotions, as I have, this past week has been a little bit of an emotional sort of ride for me. If you've been in deep emotions, Spirit is requesting you to jump up, get to a higher vista, and take your look from the view above. It says, get the big picture is the message here. But it's also the same message from the hawk, and I see a hawk every day as I'm driving into the plaza of Santa Fe. There's always a hawk that says hello to me. And it is keeping a clear perspective by when we pull back and we're able to see more components of the big picture, then we're able to really see how things are. When we're in deep waters, there's a potential for drowning because you get, if you're gulping in all of that emotion, you don't have any way of rescuing yourself. So when you pull back, you rise up, then you're able to get a clearer picture and see things, see why. Perhaps it's time for some inquiry as to why these feelings are prickling up, and is that a true story that's coming up? I'm pretty sure it's Byron Katie, who is the spiritual teacher who really questions everything and questions, is that true? Now, for me, going through those sort of statements is a real personal trigger because in my family of origin, my word was never believed when I was very truthful. And so when I have to go into that inquiry, it helps me to heal an old wound that doesn't suit me anymore. But taking that time to look at that, like when you're feeling swallowed by a dark, shadowy story, can you go to the other side and say, yes, but look at this beautiful knowledge I got from doing this task or being in that situation. You know, Gene Wilder is one of my favorite actors just because I had a crush on him as a kid. And his autobiography is very interesting because of, first of all, he's also a Silberman with a B like I am, so I know we're distant relatives. But his stories, as difficult as each chapter of his life was, he would say, but if it weren't for that, it wouldn't have led me to here and to here and to here and to here. And really appreciating that pain body that's coming up right now that will lead you, that has led you to this new place where these new things are unfolding. And even if you have some uncomfortable feelings going on, perhaps you've moved far away and your tribe, your clan of soul sisters, your soul family aren't physically near you anymore, and you're feeling left out, you have to remember that they're golden. You know, it's that Girl Scout song, make new friends and keep the old. And because they're both precious is what that is all about. One silver, one gold. Look how those golden relationships appear out of where you've been. So taking the time to step back, rise above, and get a higher perspective will help you have some clarity on the emotional ride that many of us have been going through at the same time. So when I went to my Divine Action card deck, I got the Follow Your Intuition card. So if you've been invited to a party or a gathering and you have a dialogue going where it says, I should go, and your intuition is saying, I don't go, don't fight the intuition. If the intuition says go and you're like, oh, I don't feel like going, then go, then get up and go. So follow whatever the intuition says. And then it's the very powerful Surrender card. Now, the Surrender card, surrender is tough to say, I give up. But perhaps it is surrendering to not telling or really gaining some new perspectives on these different stories. I'm looking at the cups as if they're stories. Surrendering to the good that's happened. How about surrendering from I give up. I will never, if you're trying to figure every step along the way of your path, if we try and micromanage God, it doesn't allow for a lot of inspiration, a lot of surprise, and things are working out in divine timing. So by surrendering and allowing things to flow rather than pushing the river is challenging. For those of us who really like to believe we're in charge of our life or making these big decisions all on your own. Oh my God, what an ego job. Doing this on your own, surrender that to that. Let spirit take over, let God take over, let your inner light take over, and follow that intuition. You trust your intuition. Your intuition will not let you down. Your intuition is there to guide you and to really assist you during whatever, especially during some of these big emotional stories that are coming up. So trust your intuition and get a higher perspective. Well, sounds like we got a lot of work this weekend. It's really not a lot of work. The hardest part is staying as present as possible so that we can notice where our thoughts are and not being caught up in the current of the stream of emotions that have been percolating. So do your best to go easy with yourself. And if you are feeling a little anxious with this holiday season, take some deep breaths, breathe into it, and do your best to just focus on your breath, just to quiet the mind just for a little bit, just so that you can get some peace. And when you're ready to view things again, do your best to look at it from a higher perspective, not so close to it. Go more general when we're telling the story of whatever story is coming up. Okay, my dear, I hope you know how much I love you and how grateful I am you stopped by my channel. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here. And let me know how you're doing. Give me a little comment down below. And I hope you know that I'm here for you. And I look forward to seeing you next time.